examination within the timeline suspension. All right. Now, in order to encourage agents to take this exam quickly, we have actually introduced unlimited free receipts for candidates that are taking the MFPC examination with MTA. Okay, and these unlimited free receipts is until the 31st of December 2023. It is applicable for candidates that take the exams individually, or they can also take in bulk together with other agents in the same TO. Apart from that, another encouragement for agents is a special designation that will be accorded to agents that complete the M2 examination. This designation is given out by the Malaysian Takaful Association, and it is called TPA, which is Takaful Professional Advisor. Okay, and when we will be updating it into the OTAS system, into the agency system, and when there is an inquiry on the status of agents, there will actually be a designation next to your name once you have passed the M2 examination. So we hope that with these two encouragements and these two initiatives that we have started here at MTA, that all our agents will expedite taking the M2 examination. So that's all for my part, but now I would like to introduce and call upon Encik Razwan, the CEO of MTA, to actually present on the Hijrah27 blueprint. Encik Razwan?
Testing. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Lynn, thank you very much for the very good announcement. Okay, so now Alhamdulillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and very good morning everyone. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wa mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome to the webinar for Hijrah 27. So throughout the 40 minutes or so, I will take everyone. For today, we intended to all our agents, but it is also open to public because it is there in our Zoom, it is there on our FB Live, and so on and so forth. But the real intention is targeting to our agents, on what is Hijrah. I'm very sure some of you have heard, some may not, but those that heard basically wondering what is Hijrah 27 is all about. So basically for today, I would like to basically go through few segments, namely introducing Hijrah to everyone, and also take you through the implementation process that we will be doing in order for us to basically achieve this Hijrah 27, project. Now, before that, basically, because of the time, that I have, and to make most of it, let us watch a video about Hijrah 27 so that we have some overview in terms of what is Hijrah 27 is all about, to make it easier for me to cover most of the topic after this. Right? So now, basically, Hijrah 27 is arising from various initiatives that we have done before. For everyone information, basically, everything started in 2019 when MTA board, or known as management committee then, engaged an advisor to review the performance of MTA. That report called MTA 2.0. Within the MTA 2.0 report, it's a simple report basically. However, it is important for highlighting the pain point of MTA and the industry, and some recommendations in terms of how to basically address that the situation. Nevertheless, the pain point that being addressed is larger than whatever recommendation that being basically set in the report. But nevertheless, it has triggers the association to develop what we call as Islah 23. Islah 23 is the reform plan for the MTA to basically address all those recommendations that is made in MTA 2.0 report. MTA 2.0 report is like a report card, basically. This is the assessment of you. It's a diagnostic about your situation. And Islah 23 is basically the prescription of it, basically, right? So Islah 23 looks at four main areas. How to increase the visibility of MTA, because MTA 2.0 is about MTA, yeah, it's about takaful yet. So how to increase the visibility of MTA, how for MTA to adopt best practice, like for example, emulating what its sister Piam, Liam is doing basically. That is very much expectation then. And then to basically adopt some operational efficiency to ensure that whatever that we do here in MTA efficient, and finally to have some financial sustainability. So that is what happening at the very beginning of 2022. Now, in that year as well, I mean prior to that year in 2021, the whole takaful industry has already embarked on what we call value-based intermediation for takaful, right? So, or VBIT. And the promise that we made to the regulator then is that 1 year after the rollout of VBIT in 2021, we will come up with the roadmap. So Islah 23 is basically now become a roadmap for VBIT to a certain extent, right? So, and in July, basically, we come out with the proper roadmap for VBIT that provide a step-by-step guide on how we can achieve the aspiration of VBIT. Now, along the way, also in 2022, basically, Bank Negara has issued what we call Financial Sector Blueprint. Remember, VBIT 2021, Financial Sector Blueprint 2022, and within this Financial Sector Blueprint that basically aims to provide inclusive, innovative, and sustainable finance to the Malaysian market. It's larger than VBIT itself. So what we do basically at the MTA is we harmonize the two initiatives that we have, VBIT and also FSB, into one, because it just does make sense for us to actually combine these two, right? So hence, in 2022, we have implemented the roadmap for Financial Sector Blueprint. So when we say that we implemented the roadmap for Financial Sector Blueprint, we are actually hitting two birds with one stone. Now, VBIT and FSB, for those that familiar, both are very large document, but for those that are familiar, you can always go to basically MTA website for you to basically have access to this document. They are focusing on positioning the financial industry as well as positioning the takaful industry as a value-driven industry, right? So the difference between VBIT and FSB lies at the strategic thrust number 1 and number 5 of Financial Sector Blueprint. Number 1 is basically to embark on the recovery, the economic recovery, typically following, the impact of COVID, because 2022 we just basically move out from the pandemic to endemic, right? So it just makes sense the industry is like recovering. But they have a specific one, which is strategic thrust number 5, that is to promote advanced leadership of Islamic finance. That is very unique to Financial Sector Blueprint. Otherwise, whatever that we have in VBIT also can be mapped directly to Financial Sector Blueprints. And as we implemented it in 2022, it goes in 2023. Come end 2023, when we assess the achievement of our reform plan Islah, we found that not only that it has changed MTA, I believe that those that have engaged with us for the past 2 or 3 years, beginning 2022, especially 2023 and 2024, will be able to concur with me that there are some differences in MTA that you were able to witness. And that is arising from the achievement that we have in ISLA. Now, having said that, ISLA not only changed MTA, but to a certain extent, it resonates very well with our members. Hence, basically, we feel that now that we have done the reform and the results that we actually achieve resonate very well with the industry and also regulator, the question is, why not we move to the next level? And the next level is Hijrah. Hence, when we basically started our journey at the beginning of 2024 on Hijrah, the whole process, the whole very comprehensive process take about technically about 9 months, involving engagement with all stakeholders. There is at least 3 times, where we actually lock the CEO together to really go through. We sit down with the regulator, Bank Negara. We sit down with as you mentioned much earlier, we also have this MIFC, basically, right? And a lot of other, like for example, previous champion, like, those that are already basically out of the industry, but nevertheless a very significant person. Now, when we engage with MIFC, when we presented about Hijrah, I would have to say that, we somehow made a very good impression to the council. As a result, the council has basically included strengthening takaful as one of the focus of the MIFC position paper that they presented, for Malaysia. What does it mean by having strengthening takaful as one of the focus? It means now the takaful will become one of the Islamic finance national agenda. So with that, basically, we embarked on the development and finally arrived last November. We launched during our 40th anniversary. We launched Hijrah27. It is basically, it's poised to be a 4-year plan, all right? However, because of the development and everything, we still have 3 years to go. However, as I will basically show later on, we are not starting from the start. Now, if you go into this Hijrah27, you'll be able to download the public version of Hijrah27. You will see that it starts with the forward by the governor. Not going into the details, but trust me, the forward by the governor is a very, very special forward because it's something that Bank Negara not normally do, like having a forward in publication outside Bank Negara. However, as we basically put our request, what we received from Mr. Governor himself is that here he's pleased that, the industry are able to sit down together and come out with the transformation plan that aim to basically change the game for the industry, right? And his advice is that the takaful industry must continue and must remain, number one, agile, and number two, have to collaborate. That's why, for the past few years, basically, we have emphasized on this word, cooperation and collaboration, because we know together we can achieve more. Inside the report also, you'll be able to see the commitment by Tan Sri Azman Mokhtar. He's basically the chairman of MIFC. He basically said that MIFC stand firm behind the takaful industry in order for this. And myself and Elmi, we agree. For us to achieve all this, everyone must unite. Yes, we will compete in doing our business. It's okay. But when it comes to commenting, promoting takaful, preaching for the word of takaful, everyone is on the same boat. That is what we are doing. We leave no one behind in that basically journey. Now, having said that, right? So we said that we have VBIT, we have FSB. Because what VBIT and FSB is doing, it sets the landscape correct. You know, it give a direction for the industry, right? So we aspire to achieve this new takaful landscape that create value to the country, to the community, to the industry, in line with the principle of Sharia, and we are on the right track. And not only that, if you look into the 40th anniversary report, again, as agent, I really recommend you to basically download the 40th anniversary report, because it's a very good report, and it will be able you will be able to see the strength, because we include a lot of new things in this 40th anniversary report. It's not the same like, for example, the 30th anniversary report that you familiar before, right? One of the things that you can see is that we have been consistently growing for the past 10 years, right? At the rate of 10.6%, right? But more importantly is that for the past 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, the surplus sharing that we made to the participant has grown at 22.6%, outpacing any investment that you know of, basically. But I'm not suggesting that takaful investment, but just imagine that the surplus sharing 22%, 22.6% every year cumulatively, you know, for the past 10 years. And unique to takaful is that the zakat payable by the takaful operator have grown at the rate of 49.8 or 50% year on year, okay, for the past 10 years. Just to give you an idea, well done for everyone. In 2013, the whole industry paid only about 900,000. Yeah. In 2015, it dropped to 500,000. In 2023, and of course, it progressively growing. In 2023, the whole industry paid 50 million worth of zakat. Imagine the circular economy that we are contributing, and that not mentioning the zakat that you pay, the zakat that I and everyone at the staff of staff of the takaful industry pay. It's just the company pay. Just imagine all this goes back to the needy, right? So that is takaful, all right? And on top of that, we have other achievements, like, for example, we saw that the regulatory support to us is at the best, basically. Yes, regulator, you know, they regulate because they want to ensure a very stable market, but at the same time, they are very engaging with us. No more like, for example, you know, something that actually negatively impacted us, you know. And our voice also has been recognized. And not only that, one thing that we saw is that there is increased participation from members company. We saw company actually acted differently in certain way. And the best part is that there is an indication that the takaful operator now are cooperating in many matters. And that's enough indication that we are ready towards, you know, proceeding to this hijrah. And again, as I mentioned, I mean, don't take my word. You can ask ChatGPT now. Is basically the trend of the day. Ask ChatGPT. You know, my ChatGPT name Potnik. I ask him a lot of things. Basically, you can ask. You know, the visibility that takaful have created for the past few years, right? From 2021 to 2024, we take 2021 because it's a good comparison before Islah. Islah start in 2022, right? In 2021, our ASR is less than 1 million. Our reach is less than 10,000. We have no idea the engagement that we have on ground activity because we never measured. But just to give you an idea, the ASR or the PR value that we have created have grown from 2022 to 2020, up to 2024, 687%. Our reach is 10.5 times higher than whatever that we achieved earlier. Less than 10,000 last year alone, 4.5 million, just to boast of it. Our on-ground activities, 60 activities in 2023, 2022, attracting about 20,000 attendees, physical attendance. 61 activities in 2023. 2022, we have 60 activities, 20,000 physical attendees. 2023, 61 activities, ground activities, like Takaful Masuk Kampung and everything. We are attracting 171,000 attendees. Same number of ground activities, but attracting more crowd. People want to know about Takaful. People are aware about Takaful. And that's what visibility is all about. And last year, we have slightly more because we are partnering with a lot of us agencies that also promoting financial literacy. Yeah. And roughly we achieve about 210,000 physical attendees. So more people are interested about Takaful. Last 2 weeks, I went to a shopping complex, and tried to do my grocery, wearing my other baju with Takaful for all. And the cashier just asked me, what is Takaful? What is Takaful? At least, while they are not aware what is Takaful, but at least they have heard and it's triggered them to ask, what is Takaful? Well, we still have a long way to go, but we are there basically. And considering all this, we think that we are now ready for Hijrah. And of course, in order for us to embark on Hijrah, we need to know what are the challenges that currently impeding us from achieving whatever objective or true potential of Takaful. That is, can be classified into awareness, product competitiveness, and then we have distribution, talent, digital, as well as ESG. I'm not going into the detail because I only have 1 hour. You can read it in the report. But basically, there are 19 areas. There are 19 areas that basically that we have identified. 19 areas that we have identified that we need to address. The idea is that if you have a problem, if you address these 19 problems, does it make sense that whatever that you want to achieve, you will be able to achieve? That was the idea, right? So hence we embark with Hijrah. This apartment, ataupun like Tan Sri Azman call it as condominium, is a representation of what is the whole framework is all about. Starting with the mission of strengthening Takaful, right? We are introducing the tagline, sama berlindung, sama beramal, sama berjaya, Takaful untuk semua. Now, for those that are old enough, you'll be familiar with some of the words that we use here. It may basically create some nostalgia to some of the old agents, especially those of my age, basically, right? But we add a little bit new spice inside this by including sama beramal. Because I know basically agent has been preaching that whatever that we are doing, is part of my ibadah. But unfortunately, only agents have that kind of mindset. The people that is actually working like us, basically, we know, but we hardly preach that. Even the customer also, when they are basically participating, they don't know that actually that is the participation is actually an act of basically charity, right? So everyone has to understand, not only agent. Thank you, agent, for preaching that without stop. I remember calling all the leaders coming here. That what they start, that what triggered them to become an agent. They said that, I want to be part of my ibadah, right? Part of my charity. We are saying this charitable thinking should go to every line. It should go up to the board of directors, senior management, staff of Takaful, participant, and of course, agent, right? And then our mission is simple. We want to make Takaful as a household name in Malaysia. Ingat protection, ingat Takaful. And then we want to accelerate the growth of Takaful. At what rate? Of course, the plan have a detail of it, but just know that we want to accelerate the quality growth of Takaful, all right? And agency play a very important role in that, because agency is definitely one of the most important distribution channel that we have. I don't want to call it distribution channel. Let's call, agency is the most important part of the Takaful family. Now, there is a lot of measure of success that we set. I will touch that later on. But these two missions that we want to achieve to make Takaful as the first choice of insurance, first choice of protection, as well as accelerating the growth, come by achieving these four strategic objectives. Number one is basically we want to make sure that Takaful resonate positively with customer and stakeholder. We want to ensure that there is a cohesive industry-wide collaboration. We have started what we call a T-Talk. And this T-Talk is just started, like in 2023, right? In some of our session, we heard some of the participants, sometimes agents, sometimes the staff, the regional staff, say that it has been 15 years, I know the name, but I never met you for the first time. That is basically the nature of our industry. We work in isolation. It's okay for us to compete. The nature of Takaful, being a tijari, being a commerce, we are competing, coming out with the best proposition, but we also need to collaborate when it comes to a common goals. Basically, that's what we are preaching here in Hijrah. Cohesive industry-wide collaboration. And of course, technology play a very important role in our next steps, and of course, being regulator also is one of our major stakeholders. Now, having said that, basically, we have identified, now that we know the strategic objective that we need to achieve in order for us to achieve our mission and vision, what are the trusts, right? And the trusts are basically being identified as 8. The 4 awal, we will call it the 4 first and the 4 second, basically. The first 4 is meaningful awareness, innovation, digital transformation, and also supportive regulation and governance, right? Whereas the second 4, these first 4, if let's say we achieve it, Pareto rule, we achieve 80% of what we try to achieve. But of course, there are things that is supporting that. That is like, for example, ensuring high caliber talent. When we say ensuring high caliber talent, and we also include agent, because if you look into Hijrah, you will see a lot of reference to agent. Not in a negative way, in a very positive way. Because why? Agent is very important part of Takaful family. Enhancing our communication, looking at the segment that we have not, we have underserved before. Underserved doesn't mean only B40, right? Underserved can mean a lawyer, a professional that have yet to get Takaful cover. That can be underserved also. And then, of course, with all the climate change and ESG, we also are actually looking into that part. And trust me, Takaful is not new in ESG. In fact, it is basically in our blood already, because when we introduce VBIT, we do the mapping. Our mapping can go as high as the the United Nations SDG. It can be mapped that high, because why? It's natural for Islamic finance like Takaful to be ESG aligned. Yusuf Qaradawi have actually wrote a book about this in 2002. That's how early, basically, people are thinking about the ESG in Takaful. So with all that, basically, right, you cannot manage what you cannot measure. And if, let's say, you don't measure, chances are you shock sendiri, no? We are putting a very comprehensive indicators, and this is the 8 high-level indicators, the 8 high-level indicators, which is gross contribution. We measure the increase in the gross contribution. We measure the customer retention and penetration rate, because these 3 are very important. One talk about the growth of the industry. One talk about the quality of the industry. One talk about providing or touching the life, providing protection. The first three. And of course, the rest are basically also equally important. But the first three is what makes Hijrah different than our journey before in FSB and also in VVIT. Because FSB and VVIT is value-driven. It's about achieving common good. But then Hijrah is about not only that, it includes that, but also growth. There is a growth element, which is why Hijrah received huge support from all the operators. And as you can see later on, most of our CEO are the champion of Hijrah. I will touch into that, right? So, of course, in order for Hijrah to be successful, the people have to have the right culture and the right mindset. And today I want to stress the role of agents. Basically, we are looking at agents to become our ambassador. As our ambassador of Hijrah, you have to have the right mindset and culture. And that's where good ambassador is. Now, we have to be united in basically addressing the common, basically, agenda. We compete in doing our business, but when it comes to takaful, the good for takaful, everyone is on the same boat. And of course, we are actually talking about cross-industry collaboration. Takaful cannot exist in isolation of the Islamic banking, of the Majlis Agama Islam, of the Islamic NGO, and so on and so forth. Takaful has to be part of that, and that is what we are driving, right? And what goods look like if, let's say, we achieve Hijrah in 3 years' time? We basically achieve what we aspire, creating value for the country, community, and industry in line with the principle of Sharia. That is what VBIT and Takaful for All is all about. We are talking a conducive environment, conducive ecosystem for growth. Just imagine, as an agent, you are basically working in an environment where there is a lot of trust to Takaful agent. There is a lot of basically engagement with that. There is openness, there is no, like, for example, because, when people understand, awareness itself will help basically, whatever that you want to achieve as an agent. We want to redefine the Takaful experience. We want people to actually see how different we are operationally, enhancing our customer experience, and stressing in our differentiation. Because currently, not many people not know about Takaful is one thing. Able to differentiate Takaful is another. And we want to set ourselves as a global leader. Now, it's such a big plan. As I mentioned, I go through the vision, 2 mission, strategy, objective, and trust, right? And that leads to 54 industry-wide initiative, right? And we want to reach this 30 million population. How are we going to reach this 30 million population, right? This is where we need you as an agent, basically, to become our ambassador. We have like 116,000 number of agents that is there, basically, to become our ambassador for Hijrah. That's how we're going to reach our 30 million population, right? We alone, the Takaful company operator alone, MTA alone, we are not able to do that. And we should not work in isolation. You exist not only just to do sales. You exist also to preach the word of Takaful. So, with all that, basically, what we need at MTA is a very good project management approach, right? And we have one of the most comprehensive, because starting from the financial sector blueprint, we already have started one of the most comprehensive among the financial industry, association, project management approach that we do. And Hijrah is basically just a follow-through of that, right? So we have a project governance that involving steering committees, the owner of the project. We have a specific PMO being established, and also a working group. I will explain about that very briefly. Now, in our project governance, all board of director is basically the ultimate. You have this board director, and basically, so they are assisted by this steering committee, comprising of all the champions here, right? I will touch about the champion later. As you can see, a lot of name there. You may know one or two names, but when you know who they are, basically you know, oh my God, that's my CEO, right? Because all the CEOs are the champion, of Hijrah. Then you have MTA as the owner. In MTA, we have like the subcommittee, as well as the PMO, being set, and we have coordinator. And this is where the Hijrah work group is all about. Now, in MTA, myself, my executive secretary just now, Puan Lin, very familiar to agent, the agent that take exam, they register, we know her basically. And then we have Puan Saili, which is, a very experienced person from the broking industry, now part of us as the program director. And of course, we have Puan Ramiza and also Putri, coming on. What we are saying is that we have a full-time project management office, because this is a long haul, right? You cannot have like somebody that doing, this project by the way, right? So it has to be permanent. Now, we are not starting from a scratch. We have already started with VIT, we move into FSB, and then when we embark with Hijrah, now, people are asking, 3 years, are we able to achieve? Why not? We are starting halfway. Everyone is actually starting from the starting line. We are actually starting at the middle of the field. Obviously, we'll be able to achieve that. We have a very comprehensive project management, right? That monitoring, and more importantly, we have 104 members that part of the team. 104. That is the biggest project management ever being attempted, in this industry. I can safely say other industry too, because, I've been to a lot of industry before. Now, FSB has already achieved like 80% of what is intended to achieve, basically. And following through with that, we introduced new initiative for Hijrah. And as you can see, Hijrah is already 52% start. So all these new initiatives in orange are those growth-driven that I'm talking about. Now, these are the champion, basically. These are the champion. You have Encik Sabri from Takaful Malaysia General. You have Encik Wan Saiful, from Encik Sabri will look into increasing capacity. Encik Wan Saiful will be looking into garnering the support from the ministry and regulator to incentivize Takaful. Our hero here, Encik Syahrul from Great Eastern, looking at improved public awareness and financial literacy. Then we have Encik Zafri, the CEO of Etika Family Takaful, looking at touching the life of unserved and underprivileged. That is the main objective, right? Encik Elmi, which is the CEO of AIA, he's looking into agent professionalism. I'm very sure you know about M2. He is the brain behind, whatever that we do for M2. As Lynn mentioned, those agents that pass M2, we are now coming out with a designation that you can carry in your card, like for example, professional Takaful agents. And if you basically register with MFPC, you can upgrade it together, like professional Takaful agent and professional Takaful advisor. All that come from this work group of Encik Elmi, basically. He looked into how to make Takaful agent more professional and more sustainable. Yeah, that is important. And then we have Encik Azam, basically previously CEO Ahmed Life, now the CEO of Sun Life. He's looking at enhancement of agent infrastructure. Go into the MTA website and you'll be able to see a specific page for agent, a specific page for agent. And based on the traffic that we are actually monitoring, agent make up about 80% of people that are visiting MTA website. And we plan to improve that further. And if, let's say, like as Puan Lin mentioned, now your OTAs, basically, we are in the midst of actually do some amendment because we are working with ISM. You just scan a QR, you pass it to your customers who scan the QR, and then they will be able to see your details in MTA, OTAS, your details, your designation, and potentially in the future, we will have a star rating, like a rating for agents to increase the trust for the agency. And then we have Encik Hamsul from Zurich looking at strengthening the Takaful branding. Remember all these objectives, yeah? Okay, and then Encik Aman Chola from FWD Takaful looking at digitalization, right? One marketplace and everything. We are talking about enhancing. We are not talking about, like replacing agent or anything like that. We are actually talking about enhancing the agent experience or dealing with agent experience through digitalization. There's a lot of process of that. The idea of single point checking where you put your basically IC and you know where the certificate is coming from this work group basically. Then we have Encik Wanajit. Previously he's looked into digitalization of Takaful operation, but now he moved. He become a Takaful class. So he's looking into enhancement of customer experience through basically, like digitalization. Patrick, the CEO of Malaysian Life Re, looking at the AI adoption of the industry. When we're talking about AI adoption, this is a serious matter because AI is not something that come and go. It's not just a flavor of the day. It will come and stay. We want to be ahead because in order for you to be able to be ahead, basically, you have to embrace technology. And there was a proof on that. We've done 2 studies that proof on that. Of course, I don't have time to touch it today. And then we have Mr. Marcel Omar. Marcel Omar is the CEO of the Swiss Re Takaful. He looked into the area of sustainability. And our brother, Mr. Asri daripada Hon Leong Takaful, he's looking at promotion and adoption of VBIT best practice. One of the achievements of his work group is basically to prepare the first in the world Maqasid Sharia scorecard. First in the world, everyone should be proud because never been attempted, never been produced, but Takaful industry in Malaysia under this work group have produced it, witnessed by the world, right? So that's what we are talking about. We're talking about advanced leadership through in the Takaful by Puan Fatihah of Zurich. All these are CEO, yeah. And then we have like Cik Nizam promoting leadership, future skill framework. We have Datuk Rudi looking at enhancing Takaful messaging. He just launched the Takaful for All disaster relief basically team. Hopefully agents will be able to participate as well when we are opening up to the agent. Now we have a very good, basically, volunteers, and we are opening up for agents to also be the volunteer. We have Sharul from the Etika, looking at increased adoption of Takaful product and risk management practices among MSME, but may not be limited to MSME, maybe can go as higher as to SME. And then Cik Noazman of Takaful Malaysia is looking at advocating the healthcare affordability and accessibility for everyone. In short, if all these champions able to deliver what they are supposed to deliver, don't you think that we are on the right track of achieving whatever that Hijrah is actually aiming at? Inshallah we can, because why? We have 17 champions. It's not we are not talking about MTA running it in isolation. We are talking about all the company, almost all the company, right? Be part of this. So that's what we are saying. We believe that Hijrah27, the very comprehensive plan that we are preparing, will drive the market growth. Do come on board. Be our ambassador. We want to make Takaful to be the leader in providing protection, and that is the rightful place where we should be. Now, some of the questions asked, what if we don't achieve this by 2027? The answer is very simple. It will be a very strong basis for us to grow for the next basically period. It will definitely be it. So with that, I thank you, everyone. Remember this, sama beramal, sama berlindung, sama beramal, sama berjaya, Takaful untuk semua. Okay, so we have a few minutes, about 10 minutes for any Q&A. We would like to invite Puan Lin basically to basically, is there any question? Because I cannot really see the question from here.
Yes, Cik Razwan, thank you so much for this inspirational and motivational presentation. Makes us all very excited to see where the takaful industry is heading to. We have had so many online attendees, and some of the questions are the first question, which is quite popular among the attendees. Why 2027? Why not any other year?
Okay. Right. I'm very old already, so cannot go up to 2030. The reason being because if you recall, financial sector blueprint stopped at 2026. What come with financial sector blueprint that is basically prepared by Bank Negara is that 9 KPI for Bank Negara to achieve. And out of these 9 KPI, 7 KPI relevant to insurance and takaful. If the thinking of the board is that if Hijrah target moves too far from the target of financial sector blueprint, chances are we are not moving as fast as during the period of the FSB supposed to be end. And chances are takaful industry will not contribute significantly to whatever that the Bank Negara want to achieve for the financial industry in Malaysia. So with that idea, by putting it just 1 year over FSB, it will step up, it will make our effort steeper, basically. Everyone will work hard. So that is the whole idea, which is why they're thinking that if, let's say, we're not able to achieve, I'm not saying that we plan not to achieve, but now let's say we're not achieving it, definitely we'll be able to achieve it before 2020. 2030, yeah. That's the idea lah. The idea is to step up our effort so that we will be able to contribute effectively to financial sector blueprint target.
All right. Thank you so much, Encik Razwan. Last question, please. This is another question from the agents now. They understand that you mentioned agents are supposed to be ambassador, but what can they contribute when they go out and meet their clients? What can they do to further the cause of Hijrah27?
Okay, when we engage with Bank Negara, Islamic Finance Department, the area of emphasis that we hear from the regulator is that compared to the conventional general and life, we have more agents, we have more number of agents. That one is definitely about 116,000 that is in the list, most probably, a good majority of it are basically active. Now, 116,000 is significant number for Malaysian economy. And what the Islamic Finance Department want us to ensure is that through professionalism, they want to ensure that this profession of takaful agent to become sustainable. But in order for us to be sustainable, meaning to say we'll be able to generate adequate income so that people will make being a takaful agent is a career, we need to have the critical mass. And Hijrah is aiming to provide that critical mass. Imagine if, let's say, we are the leader, controlling about more than half of basically the market share in this country, right? I mean, in Malaysia. Don't you think that would create a lot of income for the agent? That's number one. And it's a chicken and egg thing, because in order for us to go there, the front line has always been the face of the industry, right? Yep. I can be a pious person, orang yang alim here, but if, let's say, my ambassador show a different, basically, attitude, that is what people will basically see.
Yeah,
but true. It can be vice versa also. So if, let's say, the agent can basically live up to the expectation of becoming a pendakwah, basically, because that is where we are looking at. We are looking at, work as ibadah, we as pendakwah, and whatever that we do is basically, in line with the concept of ibadah. Even the participant that is actually contributing, they have to think of sadaqah rather than paying the premium. Because why? Niat, nama maluhu bin niat, whatever that you basically, your intent will basically be rewarded. So the intent must be correct.
Absolutely.
Which is why that we feel that agent is the most important. And that is what being conveyed by the regulator also, because regulator they have this holistic view, and this is the word that they have. We have a high hope for the Takaful agent to be able to change the perception, the bad perception over agents in the industry. So we are carrying that banner. And with that, but more importantly, we want to make sure being an agent as a rewarding career path. That is another thing that we are actually looking at, which is why we are introducing professional Takaful agent as the designation.
Yep. Okay, Razwan, I think that's all the questions we have for today. But before we leave our audience, there are 3 messages that I would like to send to our agents. The first is, please expedite taking the M2 examination. Log into the Takaful for All website and you will be able to access the examination, to register and get all the information that you need about the examination there. Second thing is, don't forget to visit us at our next webinar on Agent 360. If you have missed any episodes, you can go back and have a look at it also at the Takaful for All website. Last but not least, look out for our TSA, Takaful Star Award, that will be happening in May. And we hope to see all of you there. Takaful untuk semua.
Yes, Takaful untuk semua. Thank you very much, Lee. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.